Yes, it's a badass state to hunt whitetail in. Kansas, similar. So if you want to hunt this year, look at Missouri, look at Alabama, look at some of these other Midwestern states. Or I think you can look at Nebraska. So find the states where you can get over-the-counter tags. I think Ohio, and Ohio has pretty big deer too. And then, of course, North Carolina. But look at those states because you can buy those tags over the counter. And then do some searches on Landtrust by state, and you can see the properties. You can favorite them so you can come back and see them. You can, again, if something looks really cool, follow it. And you can message the landowners directly if you have questions about it. I would say start your planning a little earlier. We do, great properties do tend to book out in Q1 because people are doing this kind of planning right now. It's like a vacation, so you got to have a little bit of lead time to it. But yeah, look for those opportunities there. And again, just creating that free account, then we'll just make sure we send you stuff that matches your interests for you to look at. And I don't know about you, but I never get tired of looking at new ground.
What's up? Welcome back to the Redbeard Outdoors podcast. I'm Jonathan, your host. And today we've got Nic Digiscoping from Landtrust. Guys, this is a fantastic way to get to know landowners, maybe Midwest or East, if you're looking to go out for whitetail or mule deer in the Midwest, or if you're looking to come out West and hunt on some property rather than public land. These are some amazing tools that Nic is going to go over with us today on how you can get to know some of these landowners and how you can also benefit from the opportunity of getting to know the landowners, getting to know their land, and also, having the opportunity to go out and hunt the animal that you choose rather than having to wait for a draw or something along those lines. At times, you're able to purchase landowner opportunities. So you're going to want to listen to this conversation. Nic has a lot of good information that will help you out as you're looking to expand, maybe go out of state and do some out of state hunting, or maybe even in your state, you're looking for some new property and you don't know how to connect with landowners. Here you go. So stay tuned for that portion. Before we get into that though, guys, I do want to say thank you so much for your support throughout the last couple of years. The YouTube is growing, the podcast is growing, and now Spotify has a special option that you can leave comments. Leave a comment on this, any questions you may have. We'll get to those comments along with on YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, drop a comment so that I, myself, or Nic can come in and answer your questions. I'll also leave the link down below where you can find Landtrust and get more information over there as well. Also want to give a shout out to partners of the show, such as Phorm and Phorm Outdoors. Guys, if you are in the market for supplementation, training, online coaching, an app to be able to track your nutrition and register things so that you can continue on your path that you've started already, we definitely want to make sure that you stay on that path. Also, if you want, the snack pack is what I'm calling it, where you protein bars, meat sticks, and if you're into energy drinks, the energy drinks or the hydration sticks, those are all offered by Phorm, some of the best protein bars on the market and the best meat sticks on the market as well. I personally love the barbecue and the jalapeno cheddar meat sticks. You definitely want to try them out. You get free shipping for life on any order over $75 using the link down below. You'll never have to put in a code. Once you use that link and register with that link, your account will forever have free shipping for life on orders over $75. So go check that out. Last but not least, as you're getting your gear for hunting season, camping season, maybe you have some spring hunts coming up, etc. Maybe you've got turkey, bear, whatever it is that you may need, some layering systems, a shelter, go and check out BlackOvis and use code REDBEARD. Go and tune in over there, guys. They have a fantastic selection of gear, and also even the Tricer stuff that has just come out is re-released over there, in stock, back in stock over at BlackOvis. Go and check that out. Use code REDBEARD, save some money. And now let's get into the podcast with Nic Digiscoping and Landtrust. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the RedBeard Outdoors podcast. I'm Jonathan, your host, and today we have a little bit different guest today than normal. This is all new to me. I've learned about whitetail hunting over the last couple years. I grew up in North Carolina originally and came out to Utah, as a lot of you listeners know. And for those of you that are new to this show, now you know. I'm a transplant to Utah, fell in love with the mountains, and now I'm starting to fall in love with whitetail hunting after putting on the miles of chasing mule deer and elk and all of that out here in the mountains. It's nice to sit in a tree in November time frame to just kind of relax a little bit and enjoy the chess match that is hunting whitetail and kind of the management aspect of it too. There's so many things that go into it. But anyway, today we've got Nic DiCastro. His company is Landtrust. We're going to get into that. We're going to talk about how, whitetail hunting is awesome, the conservation portion of it, and also what Nic's company provides for people like us coming from the West Coast to going out east to hunt whitetails. Maybe you don't have a property lined up. Maybe you need some help finding properties. Maybe you're just looking to do some doe patrol. Maybe you want to hunt a trophy buck and everything in between. We want to be able to dive into that information. And then on top of that, we're going to get into a little bit of how to respect property, because again, going from west to east, there's a lot less public land and a lot more private land. And so respecting the private landowner to the point where you get invited back to where they appreciate you being on the property, and you even may create some friendships, some lasting friendships for the future, and even your children as they get into hunting, hopefully. With all of that being said, Nic, we've never met in person, but it was good chatting with you a little bit before we hopped on the recording. For people that don't know who you are, who are you?
Yeah. First, appreciate you having me on, and good to meet you. And my name is Nic DiCastro. I'm the founder and CEO of a company called Landtrust. You come from the East Coast. I come from the West Coast. I was originally born in Southern California, and I'm 37. So I feel like I was like the last era or generation to enjoy Southern California before it was like maximally developed. I grew up hunting quail in the Southern California deserts and surfing and fishing and spearfishing off the coast. I grew up pretty close to the beach. And yeah, just love the outdoors from a very young age. I often mention, I think probably my first actual memory I can remember is hunting doves in the just north of the Mexican border in the deserts down there in 115-degree heat. And I've just been hook, line, and sinker on hunting and fishing since as early as I can remember.
That's awesome. And I would agree, Southern California, it kind of has that surfer vibe the times that I visited, but at the same time, there's people that enjoy the outdoors. They really do enjoy hunting. And I know quite a few people. There's a buddy of mine, Drew, who started a company called Tricer, which is a tripod company, and he's building even more than just tripods at this point. But he's down in Southern California and absolutely loves it. He loves going to Mexico to hunt. He loves hunting in California and traveling the U.S. And so, but he does have, it's funny because he does have that surfer kind of talk where he's like, dude, after every word, and just stuff like that. And
I can be guilty of that sometimes too. It's where I was born and grew up.
Exactly. So that's cool. So you're a transplant. You went the opposite way, more eastern than out, out west like I did. And so with that being said, look, what is Landtrust? What is this company that you've created?
So Landtrust is a marketplace for booking outdoor experiences and trips on private land across the U.S. I started the company in Bozeman, where we built the business over the last 5 years. I just recently actually relocated myself and my family to coastal Alabama. Very big change. But yeah, you can think about, a lot of people describe it like Airbnb for outdoor experiences on private land. It's all about DIY. So we don't do any guides or outfitters. No, we don't have problems with guides or outfitters. It's a different business model and experience. So I built this company because I wanted to use it. So between growing up in Southern California, I went to school in Boston, then I was in sales for about a decade before I started this company. So I lived all over the country. But I ended up in end of 16 in Bozeman, and kind of immediately was confronted with what today is Landtrust. Obviously in the West, there's a lot of public land, which is an amazing resource, but I don't know, in and around Bozeman, I don't know if you've been up there much, but there's a bunch of beautiful farms and ranches like all around town, right there. And I found myself wanting to get out and kind of enjoy some of those places to hunt or fish or, forage mushrooms, whatever, right? And there just wasn't really a great way to do it. Of course, we all know there's door knocking, and that can be successful, although I think the success odds have gone down significantly. It just is what it is, right? Whether that's just population changes and growth, land ownership changes, but I think it's safe to say door knocking has not been as successful. It's probably getting less and less successful. So, I had been a longtime host on Airbnb's platform. I lived in New York City when Airbnb kind of launched there in 2010. And I saw the power of the sharing economy. Like, hey, I'm not using this thing. I'm traveling all the time. I can make some money by letting someone else use it. And that kind of marketplace, sharing economy marketplace model seemed obvious for, there's all this supply, all this land out here that is not being used for this specific thing, recreation, whether it be hunting or fishing or camping or whatever it might be. And there's obviously a bunch of people who really would love to have access just for do it yourself, right? This was what traditionally in the hunting space was called trespass fees, if you think about it. So, yeah, that's how it started. And in the last getting close to 6 years, 5.5 years or so, we've grown to close to 1.5 million acres in 42 states. Almost all of our landowners are farmers and ranchers. So owner, operator, production agriculture. These are multi-generation farm and ranch families who partner with Land Trust to generate kind of extra income for their operations while retaining control over their land. I think, in the West, leases are a lot, I guess it's not as common as out, in the Midwest or the East or the Southeast, but leases was kind of the only way to make money from that resource, that asset before. And a lot of our landowners really didn't love them because you're essentially selling a property right away, for a year or a couple of years to somebody else. So, the rub would come from like, well, then that their family can't use it, their neighbors, their friends, kids, whatever, right? So, because you sold the property right away. So they really like land trust because it allows them to retain their property rights and control, and they can still monetize whatever they don't use. So maybe the family likes to hunt whitetail bucks. Yeah, kind of like the situation we were talking about. Taylor wanted, the guy who works with us, but he wanted any nice bucks. He likes to hunt those, but he welcomed you guys out to shoot some does or some kind of cull bucks. So they can still retain that type of control while making money, and they can block a week out for Thanksgiving. Hey, the whole family's coming in. We're gonna have people hunt. But yeah, so that's kind of the general idea.
Yeah. So, and I really like that idea. And for people out west, I know here in Utah anyway, we call them a trespass fee. It's similar to leasing where
Yep.
you provide the tag, you have the tag, and the landowner, you just pay them for X amount,
Literally
whatever
access.
your season is. Yeah,
Yeah, just for access.
essentially.
It's DIY. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that's definitely a big deal. I've had some friends that have gotten wrapped up in some situations where, and I don't know the full story, so I'm not going to go into it all the way, but basically where they ended up, they didn't have written permission. They had verbal permission on video. And so the landowner ended up taking them to court because they ended up killing a really nice buck on his land. This is mule deer, not whitetails.
Yeah. Yep.
And the landowner's wife had been hunting that and didn't communicate that. And so she got upset, and they ended up taking him to court saying that he didn't have permission. And so anyway,
Goodness gracious.
yeah, it's crazy. So I always recommend getting written permission, and clearly communicating expectations with the landowner, and if sometimes it's not going to work out, and you have to go into that also understanding that maybe if you're wanting to hunt this trophy buck, and they don't want you to, you got to understand that that's their property.
Yep.
And it may not be their animal per se, but on their property, that you got to respect the rules. And so
it's activity on their property, which they're giving you access to.
Exactly. And so the story that Nic was referring to just from before we hopped on here. So I went out to North Carolina to do some doe patrol on my buddy's property. Just so you guys know out there listening, on my buddy's property, he shares kind of a block of woods with a couple of neighbors. And in these woods, in one trail cam photo, there were so many does that in just one photo, I think we had 12 or 13 does that they literally, it looked like they were like lined up and filled the entire screen. And that little block of woods can't hold that many deer sustainably. And so I went out there to help with that. I've got a lifetime hunting and fishing license in North Carolina. And so they give me X amount of tags every year if I call them up and ask for them. And so just went out for some doe patrol, and then happened to be that Taylor, who works with you, had given Jeff permission to be on his property, and in turn graciously allowed me to come and hunt the property as well. And the expectations were set. Again, me being a newbie to whitetails, I'm still learning how to judge animals and such, but he did say, does, anything you want, and then bucks that are basket bucks. And he had to describe that to me because my idea of a basket buck might be different than someone else's. And he said, anything basket buck and smaller, go ahead and take. And anything that looks like it's going to grow into a good buck, please leave them so they can grow for me and my family to hunt. And I said, great. So one of the nights we were up there, I ended up, using my Western calling desire and grunted, even though this was in December. And I heard rumors and had gone down the rabbit hole of possibly a second rut happening. And so I was like, well, I'll just throw a grunt out there. I'm not really hearing or seeing anything. And this doe comes barreling up towards me, getting chased by a buck. She hit my wind and whipped around, which that was crazy to see how in tune their nose is. Even though they are running away from something, they hit my scent wall and were just boom, turned right back around. The buck comes up, and this was kind of at last light. And he was 20 yards from me. Perfect. Would have been a great broadside shot, but I couldn't confirm if he would grow into it's still something for me that's new. And so I opted to not shoot because, again, I didn't want Jeff to lose permission on the property to cause bad blood between him and Taylor. I know it can get really bad, and sometimes landowners are like, you know what, whatever, it happens, and they're nice about it. But either way, opted not to shoot. He ran back off after the doe. Cool experience. Get down, get back to talk to Taylor, and explain how he was kind of spindly, and he was like a 6 point, maybe a 7 point, and he was like, "Oh yeah, you could have shot him all day." And I was like, "Gosh dang it," but
better safe than sorry, man. Better safe than
exactly.
sorry.
Exactly. And you work with property owners, and so you get to deal with that a lot more often. But I just want to make it clear to people that are, whether you're in the West or going out East, clearly set communication and also standards of what is expected on the property. Leave the property better than you found it. I think every outdoorsman and women know that standard as well. Don't leave trash. Don't dig things into their trees and leave them there, and stuff like that. And if they set a standard of animal to shoot, always err on the more cautious side, even though you may want to pull that trigger like I did. What's your experience with that, with landowners?
Yeah, look, and I think to your point, whether you're paying for the opportunity to have access to that property or not doesn't change, the fact that being respectful, and it's an opportunity, regardless, like I said, if you're paying for it or not. We found with our landowners, and again, most of our landowners being owner operators, which means they live and work on that land, who knows it better than someone whose family's lived there for 5-6 generations. They're very clear with their expectations. A lot of times they'll show folks around. And we have found, just the way that our marketplace works, there's just, I think we're 99% 5-star reviews from landowners to their guests. So there's just been a really great experience. But certainly having those expectations, if you have a question, if you're unsure, ask. Just it's better to ask up front and to get that answer rather than not ask and then make a mistake. So I think just clear lines of communication,
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. And yeah, there's certain things that I would say it's okay to ask forgiveness than permission in certain areas of life. This is not one of them, because if you shoot an animal, that is not okay. You can't just go revive that animal and put it back on the property.
No.
That animal is gone forever.
Yeah.
And so, and you don't know what kind of effort and work has been put into that property. That you're going out there, and even though like you said, you're paying for permission, doesn't give you the right to do whatever you want.
That's right.
Clearly set those expectations.
Yeah, and I think the general kind of categories are, gates, especially on agricultural properties, ranches, leaving gates the way you found them, making sure that you do that so that cows don't get out, ensuring that you're not driving on 2 tracks after the rain and rutting up roads, and just really kind of understanding those aspects. If you are successful, do they care if you gut them out in the field, or how do they want you to take it out? A lot of landowners are fine with it. Yeah, just you gut them out there, and some of them want you to take that and clean those animals elsewhere. So I think just some of those major things that it's good to check in. Or, hey, do you care if I screw in stuff for a tree stand or whatnot, or trim some limbs or whatever that might be?
Yeah, exactly. What are some other things that maybe, for the Western guy that wants to go out East or Midwest, is looking for a property to hunt? What are some of your most common questions that you get from people like that?
Yeah, it's funny when you say East. Again, I lived in Montana the last 8 years. East can be Nebraska, but
right.
yeah, I think it's understanding the tag systems, which honestly, the Western tag systems are way more convoluted, generally speaking. So it's for guys who are Western hunters who have not really ever gotten into whitetails in the Midwest or the Southeast, dude, the rut doesn't even start down here till this month. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking to guys down here in Alabama where I'm at, and they're saying sometimes they're hunting Valentine's Day for the rut. So
Really?
one, there's long seasons, and you can get your fun rut hunts for elk and mule deer and stuff in the West, and still have months to go until it starts here. You can, there's plenty of opportunity. There's a lot of deer now, depending on where you're going. The size of deer and quality of deer, down here in Alabama, they're not growing bucks like they are in Nebraska and Iowa and Ohio and stuff. But you can kill $3. So like if you're looking for something to do in December, January, February, like the Southeast is certainly something to look at. So usually it's questions on, that kind of stuff. And then, ideas on the types of properties that people are looking for, whether there's lodging or not, and just, past success, all that kind of stuff,
Mm. I got you. No, that makes sense. So, with people going more eastern or looking to extend their hunt, like you're saying, they could go out, in the southeast, understand your tags, make sure you plan ahead if you need to draw
hmm
or whatever it may be. I guess what do you see most often because you said you've got over 1,000,000 acres
hmm
right now that you guys help with, and so what do you see most often, most common as far as throughout the year? Is it a lot of Eastern guys, Eastern and Midwest, that are looking to have some more help and gain more property to be able to hunt? Or is it a lot of Western guys coming out East once their tags are filled or their seasons are done? What do you guys
Yeah.
see more often?
At this stage of the business, okay, so, marketplaces, just to take a step back there, marketplaces are really hard to get going. So when you have a supply and a
Mm,
demand side, you're kind of building two businesses in parallel. So I started in Montana. Montana is our most mature market. We have the most properties and listings there. So in the beginning, when you're building, the good thing about Montana is everyone wants to go there. It's
mm-hmm,
also the bad thing about Montana. But yeah, so it's like a destination. So whether you're,
mm-hmm.
a guy in Alabama, or somebody in Utah, or somebody in Rhode Island, Montana's a destination.
Right.
It's hunter and fisherman's checklist. So in the beginning, we had sportsmen from all over the country said, "Oh, okay, there's these new ranches on this company called Landtrust that I can book access to and book my trip for." But as we've grown across the United States, and now we're in 42 states, we really see a mix of kind of everything. So yeah, I think the thing that unites hunters, fishermen, people who love the outdoors is we're always looking for new experiences. Like it's great to have your local spots that you kind of got dialed in, but you're a mule deer hunter and an elk hunter who is now going to like North Carolina to hunt whitetails because it's fun,
Mm-hmm.
it's different, it's something that you don't do a lot of. And that whitetail hunter in North Carolina definitely wants to go and hunt mule deer or elk, right? And so that constant searching for a new experience, you talk about hogs down here and people roll their eyes, but like I've never killed a hog and I really want to go hog hunting because it's
Mm-hmm.
not what I've been used to. So that's what I think the common theme is. If they're sportsmen who are using land trusts and they're living down here in the South, they're looking for something new, and they might look for local stuff around them too. I think that's really an interesting point that we really see two major types of trips being booked on land trust. One is what we call the hunting vacation. And if we're talking about hunting specifically, we do offer other stuff too, but hunting is a big kind of vertical. And that hunting vacation is, hey, I want to go somewhere new with a group of friends or family and, for a few days and create, lasting memories around this hunting thing. So, it's really about that vacation aspect with that group of people. And so for you, it could be, booking a, whitetail hunt in Alabama on a cool property with your buddies or your family and you're going for 4 days. And like, honestly, the camp experience, the whole thing is kind of like
Mm-hmm.
what you're looking for. And then, the other type is what we call the local spot. It's really what I started Land Trust for in the beginning, as I mentioned, as we started talking, which is I want to find somewhere that's pretty close to home. Let's call it within 2 hours of my house, that if I get a Friday or a Saturday off, that I can pop over and just have it to myself, and I don't know about you. I've got three young kids. I've got three daughters from 5 to 2 and a company. Like I don't get a lot of time to go hunting, frankly. And when I do get that time, I really just want to maximize my time in the field. And for me at this stage of my life, it's about unplugging from, work and devices and all that stuff and just not being stressed out. It's really about like de-stressing more so than like finding some big animal. That's awesome if you can do it. And if it happens, that's amazing. But for me, that's what it's about. And so, having the ability to say, okay, I get this one day, during the season, I can kind of get away from the family and go hunt. I don't want to take a risk with that time because it's precious.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to go show up to a public, piece and see 6 trucks on the trailhead. I don't want to go, again, public land's a great resource,
Oh yeah.
but for this purpose, like I just want to go have a place to myself where I can approach it myself and, enjoy my time outdoors. So those are really the kind of 2 major types of trips. I would say, for guys out there thinking about it, if you drew a tag, it took you 10, 15 years to get, and your buddies can't go with you because they didn't draw them, and you need that 200-inch buck to make you be happy, you should probably call an outfitter or a guide, right? Like that's the gig they do.
Yeah.
That's not to say that 200-inch deer haven't been killed on land trust properties. They have, but it's a different mindset,
I would say I've seen some photos.
Yeah, some great
Taylor
animals
showed us some photos, and good night. Like
Yeah.
there are some big bucks. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. But like I said, it's a little bit different mindset. It's a little bit more
Mhm.
outcome oriented. And I'd say I would really encourage the people who enjoy and get the most out of land trust. They're about opportunity and experience.
Yeah.
If it's like, hey, if I don't kill a 200-inch deer, I'm going to be pissed off. And I'm not judging that, because again, if you put in for X amount of years and you finally draw that tag, call a guide or outfitter,
Exactly. Yeah, no, I agree. It is more about what kind of experience you're looking for. So kind of to sum that up, just what I'm understanding is if you are someone that doesn't want to or doesn't have time to door knock, make phone
Yeah.
calls, go through your yellow book, whatever, yellow pages, make
Yellow
all
pages.
those the yellow pages.
I haven't
of a
heard that
phone
in
book.
so long.
I
Yeah.
know you don't want to go through and make all those phone calls. That's what you're paying Land Trust to do. To go in and do all of those things for you and find people that are okay with you hunting their property. And I would agree. Like if you're looking for, if what gets you going is 200 and whatever inch mule deer, then and you've never hunted a property before, then definitely get an outfitter, because they will have put boots on the ground,
Yep.
cameras out, whatever they need to do to make sure that you have the best opportunity. But if you're looking more for kind of like me this last year, where I just went out and was doe patrol,
Yeah.
or something like that, or even if you want to kill bucks, or if you want to have that experience and not have to find the property, that's what Land Trust is more for.
Yeah, and if you like figuring it out, like for me, I just kind of enjoy it. Like, first of all, I do not claim to be some sort of like expert hunter. I am not. Like I really enjoy it. I can get it done.
Yeah.
I've never killed some monster buck or big bull or anything like that, but I enjoy the process of like figuring it out, making a mistake, and like okay, like just that iterative process. And again, this is nothing against guides or outfitters at all. It's just I'm looking for a different thing.
Do you need help staying on track with your goals that you started at the beginning of this year in 2025? Well, guess what? I've got a partner for you. Phorm. You've heard me talk about them a lot. And here we go, guys. The products that they provide are phenomenal. They are the best on the market. But on top of that, there's an app that can help you track your nutrition and hit the goals that you need. Everything from basic tracking all the way up to getting a personalized trainer and nutrition coach in the app, live classes, an actual person, though, more than anything, an actual person, not some bot or something that is just spitting out random numbers to you, but someone who actually cares and checks in with you on a regular basis. Not to mention, best protein on the market right here. Not my favorite flavor personally, the vanilla, but I love vanilla mixed with fruit or pretty much anything else you want to mix in with it. Vanilla is amazing. This right here, Formula One, is 100 calories, 20 grams of protein, guys, super lean protein. Highly recommend it. If you want more of the snack pack style things, boom, don't look any further. Level 1 bars are phenomenal. 20 grams of protein, and it tastes like a freaking cookie, especially those peppermint bark. If you're lucky to snag some of those, they're amazing. And last but not least, guys, part of the snack pack is what I call it, the Phorm protein sticks. I call them the meat sticks, protein sticks, because look at that. That thing is phenomenal. And I'm telling you guys, the jalapeno cheddar is right up there with my all-time favorite, the barbecue. So go and check it out, guys. Use the link down below. Get free shipping for life on orders over $75. And you won't ever have to put in a code, ever. Again, you just get free shipping for life, automatically applied at checkout. Not to mention the 110% money-back guarantee. If you don't like it, even if it's just the flavor that you don't like, reach out to support. They will answer your questions. They will help you swap it out if you need to. Do whatever you need to do. Go give them a try. And if you're not necessarily into wanting some products right now and you just want some swag, go grab a hat, go grab a shirt, something. Go check it out. First Phorm and First Phorm Outdoors. I'll leave the link down below. Thank you so much. Now let's get back to the podcast. Yeah, no, I definitely hear you on that. That's awesome. And I think it's an amazing resource to have. You're basically doing the, per se, e-scouting for the person going out there. So it cuts time off. And, you know, again, this is one of those things, guys, where it's kind of something that my dad always taught me. And I feel like a lot of dads or people have been taught this throughout life at this point. But you're either going to have to spend the time and effort yourself doing it, or you're going to have to pay someone that knows how to do it, which is like with a plumber, electrician, building your home, renovating, any of that stuff. You're either going to have to learn how to do it and put the time and effort in yourself, or you need to pay someone like Landtrust in this case to do that groundwork for you, so you can have the experience of, this is pretty laid back. I've got my tags. This is where I'm going to go. We're good to go.
I have the confidence. And the other cool thing too is, you know, on a lot of properties, we do have game cameras out. We have a new product we released called Field Notes. So it's basically a property feed. So landowners will like post directly into it. They'll post game cameras into it, game camera photos, and all, you know, 5-star reviews will come through there. So you can, if you see properties you like, I would just say, if any of this sounds marginally interesting to people listening, take 15 seconds, create a free Landtrust account. When you do that, we ask you what activities you're interested in, whether it's hunting or fishing or camping, whatever. If you tell us hunting, okay, what species are you interested in? What state do you live in? What states are you interested in? And I don't know if you've ever used Zillow, but like, you know, it's kind of like Zillow after that, where, okay, you told us what you like, and every time we have new properties, we're just going to send them to you that match your interests. So we're like essentially scouting for you for free 365 days a year. And if a property pops up that you like, you can message that landowner. So, you know, like, you directly communicate with the landowners. Again, if any of you have ever used Airbnb or VRBO, it's almost the exact same user experience. You're communicating with the person who is there. And because of who our landowners generally are, like, who's going to know their property better than that person who grew up there their whole life? So, you know, the usual experience on Landtrust is, you know, you communicate with that landowner, ask the questions you might have, you make the booking, and then we send you like digital maps of the property. Like, part of your arrival instructions is, after the booking's accepted, you know, we'll send you Onyx or HuntWise maps of the property so you can kind of do your e-scouting and all that. But then when you show up, most of the time, landowners will like show you around the property, kind of tell you how it works. You know, it's like, hey, this is where we usually see stuff in the mornings and evenings, and just basically give you the lay of the land. And who better to do that than the people who live there, you know?
Exactly. No, that's really cool. And again, it piqued my interest when Taylor brought it up, and then I think that's what he was showing me was Field Notes. What was that app? And so that's something that's really cool as well. And it really is. It's a bunch of reviews, so you can go through and see who's had good opportunities and who's had good experiences and what their experience was like, and things like that. And then of course the landowners posting. It was funny. I think the one that he showed us was a lady that she didn't even, like, she doesn't hunt. She just posted.
Yeah, a lot of our landowners don't. Yeah.
And she was like, is this something along the lines of, is this a good buck or something? And this thing was, I was like, holy mackerel. Like, this thing was awesome. It had drop tines, it had trash, it was massive, just crazy awesome buck. And it was just funny because she was just kind of like, yeah, is this a decent deer? You know,
it's a very decent deer.
Yes. No, that's horrible. You don't want him on your property. I'll take him for you.
He's a nuisance.
He is a nuisance deer.
It's like, it's like an Instagram style feed. So if you go to landtrust.com/field notes, you'll see that feed there. And we're going to be integrating more and more of that into the core product as well. And it's just a great way to, like, if a property is pretty interesting, you can follow it. And so then you'll just get notifications whenever they post it. And it could be a guy in his combine, you know, taking a cell phone video of deer running out and whatever. And so you can just kind of keep tabs on properties rather than having to like communicate and ask them all the time.
Gotcha. So when someone, and then I guess on the other end, if someone wants to become a part of Landtrust as a landowner, what's the process there? Do you guys go out and I guess prospect, or is it a mix of prospecting new properties and people calling in saying, hey, I want to do this?
Certainly. So we did put a lot of time and boots on the ground in the beginning, and we've gotten to a stage in the beginning, again, with a marketplace like this is really hard. Like when you have zero landowners don't want to be the first ones.
Yeah.
But now again, almost 1.5 million acres in 42 states. There's a lot of kind of proof in the pudding on that. So we do a lot of podcasts like this, but on the farm and ranch side as well. So we get a lot of landowners that come inbound to us. I'd say to any landowners out there, we're extremely service oriented. So you can call or text us. There's a phone number on the website, and uh, we have a landowner onboarding team. We do all the work. We'll do all the heavy lift. We'll build your listings for you. We just talk to you over the phone and ask you a bunch of questions. We build digital maps for your properties, again, like using partners like Onyx or HuntWise, so that your guests know what your property boundaries are, no-go zones, where stands or cams or blinds or whatever, all that parking.
Mm-hmm.
So they have a full lay of the land. We want to make it really, really easy. So the only thing we ask of our landowner partners is to accurately describe what your property has to offer and be responsive to new inquiries and booking requests as they come in. Because we started and really focused on that farmer and rancher who are very busy people, we needed to make it as easy as possible. So once your listing is set up, you can run it from your phone. Like you literally get a text message when someone makes a new inquiry, and you can respond to them via text and accept bookings from the field.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So definitely made it more simple. And again, I recommend people go and, if you're on the West and you've got maybe this year, now that we're in kind of tag season where you're putting in for tags, you're deciding what hunts you're going to want to go on and which ones you're putting the draw in for, and you have an idea of what you're going to be drawing. Maybe you have over the counter tags that you're going to be buying. I do recommend people go out and enjoy some whitetail hunting for a little while. It's a different experience for sure. But you guys obviously do more than that. You've got properties up in, you said, Montana and across the Midwest as well. So it's not just whitetails.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Frankly, turkey. Have you gotten the turkey addiction yet, or no?
No, I can't afford another one.
I gotta tell you, man.
Yeah. No.
It's like little elk. It's like little elk hunting. A lot of calling.
Don't say that to some of my buddies. They would blow you up on that.
I'm just saying. So, like, honestly, turkeys is probably the most booked activity on Landtrust because turkey hunters love chasing subspecies, and I killed my first turkey like 2 years ago. It was an awesome trip. I actually went out with John Dudley, and he showed me his ways. But I could see the appeal. It's visual. There's a lot of calling. You can stalk them. Like, it's a lot of fun. Turkey hunting is a big activity on Landtrust, and they love us. We actually have a page that breaks out all of our properties by the subspecies of turkey, so people can go chase their slam. We'll see guys like book like 6 turkey hunts in a row back to back, and it's because they're making a big loop across states or whatever. Upland bird hunting is a big one too. But yeah, I mean, for the Western guys, that's where we started. So we have some phenomenal mule deer and elk opportunities as well. Obviously, got to pull your tags and all that good stuff. For those out there who love hunting mule deer and want to be able to do it over the counter, Nebraska is a great state for you. You can hunt mule deer over the counter with a rifle. There is quotas, so you got to make sure you buy them quickly. But we have outstanding properties to hunt muleys in Nebraska, in the sandhills, all over the place. So we do have a lot of Western opportunity because, again, that's where we started as well.
Yeah.
Utah, not so much. Utah's an interesting state. I don't know why. It's just like land ownership and tags you guys have a bit rougher system, I think, on tag availability.
Yeah, no, I can understand that, but it's good to know that you guys have such a variety of elk hunting, mule deer hunting, turkey hunts, etc.
And then fishing.
That's okay.
For the guys who like to fish, whether it's Western kind of fly fishing, we have some amazing properties in Colorado, Montana, Wyoming, Idaho that has great fishing. And then just if you want to get out and camp with your family, or maybe a property looks interesting to you, but you want to get eyes on it, book like a couple nights camping on it with the family in the summertime. So it's more than just hunting, but hunting is for sure the core business.
Gotcha. No, that's awesome. What would you say? Do you get more Western guys or more like Western styles hunts, or do you get more people that are into the Midwest, East?
I don't know. I'd say it's fairly even. Obviously, they're just from a licensed hunter perspective. There's way more Eastern, Midwestern hunters than there are Western hunters. Just Pennsylvania has more licensed hunters than Montana has residents. So the numbers kind of shake out that way. But because we built it and we started it in the West, and we have a lot of ground in like Montana, we do a lot of Western stuff.
Sweet. So let's kind of walk through two scenarios here. If
Sure.
a Western guy wants to go Midwest or Eastern for muleys or even whitetails, what would you recommend they do first? Like, just get on your site and like walk me through maybe your first 3 steps for someone that is wanting to look more into land trust and book a hunt at the end of this year.
Yeah.
What would be your first 3 steps, you would say?
Yeah. So create a free account. Tell us what you're interested in species wise in states that you're probably interested in. I can just tell for guys out there, like, look, Iowa, it's going to take you a while to draw a tag for whitetail. Yes, it's a badass state to hunt whitetail in. Kansas, similar. So if you want to hunt this year, look at Missouri, look at Alabama, look at some of these other Midwestern states. Or I think you can look at Nebraska. So find the states where you can get over the counter tags. I think Ohio has pretty big deer too. And then of course North Carolina. But look at those states because you can buy those tags over the counter. And then do some searches on land trust by state, and you can see the properties. You can favorite them so you can come back and see them. You can, again, if something looks really cool, follow it, and you can message the landowners directly if you have questions about it. I would say start your planning a little earlier. We do, great properties do tend to book out in Q1 because people are doing this kind of planning right now. It's like a vacation, so you got to have a little bit of lead time to it. But yeah, look for those opportunities there. And again, just creating that free account, then we'll just make sure we send you stuff that matches your interests for you to look at. And I don't know about you, but I never get tired of looking at new ground personally.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's awesome. Well, you're in the right business to do that.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So those would be your first, and would it be very similar for someone Eastern wanting to go west to hunt elk, mule deer? Just very similar. Start that free account.
Same
let
process.
You guys know what you're interested in. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
so I'm going to leave that.
If you don't see, I was going to say, if you don't see, look, we're not everywhere yet, and we're growing pretty quickly. But if there's a state in a species and we don't really have any properties that match that yet, still like tell us those preferences, because the moment we get it, we'll email you like, hey, we now have this property that matches what you're looking for.
Cool. So I guess a couple questions popped up there, but first I want people to know I'm going to leave that link down below for Land Trust, so you guys can go over there and check it out, and check out any hunts or anything that you're wanting to go for this year. As again, when this comes out, it'll be prime time for putting in for your tags, booking your hunts. Hopefully you're planning a little bit more ahead of time so you can let your spouse know as well. That's a big thing too, guys. Just like respecting property owners, you got to respect your spouse's time, and that's very key to be able to continue hunting for the rest of your life. And so definitely make sure you go in and start that account. And if anything, just go in and ask questions and get some more information from Land Trust. But my question, I guess, for you would be, as far as sending out the emails, they can set up their preferences so that you guys let them know when something pops up. Okay, cool.
Yep. So we're onboarding new properties every single week. And so once you tell us your preferences, you can opt into SMS. We're not going to spam you, but you can get a text and an email so you tell me you're interested in, mule deer in Nebraska. We get a new property that has mule deer. They're offering mule deer hunts. You're going to receive that email immediately. So, hey, here's this new ranch. It's got mule deer. It's in the Sandhills. And you can look at it. You can make your inquiry real quick with the landowner, ask questions, and then you can book it if you want to, or you can favorite it, follow it, and just kind of watch that property too. So yes, tell us your preferences. That's the biggest deal. We'll go do all the scouting for you.
Love it. That's awesome. That definitely makes things a lot easier. And that's a free service that you guys provide.
Free account. Okay. Yeah. So
there you go. So
yeah,
you guys aren't
doing
anything.
Right?
If you go in and you put your information in, you're not having to put any money down until you've got the hunt that you want. And they're out there doing the work for you. So I can't recommend that enough. I obviously haven't personally used that yet, but that's an amazing tool for people that again are busy. They've got kids, work, maybe have multiple jobs, you and your spouse work, you've got other things going on. It's hard to be able to go out and look up properties and even know where to start. So having this tool to know where to start, and then of course you guys doing that work for them and being able to provide that information that's fantastic. That's really cool.
Yeah, I don't know about you. I am deeply envious of the more unattached people out there, probably young, in their 20s, who get to spend 45 days a year scouting, and they hunt every day of the season. Like, genuinely, it's just not
Yeah,
where I'm at in my life. So, enjoy it now. But for the people who don't have that kind of time to put into it, which I think a lot of us are in that basket, we're a really great resource to maximize your time.
exactly. No, that's really cool. Is there anything else that I haven't touched on about land trust or anything like that you'd like to hit on?
I think you asked a bunch of great questions. Again, take 15 seconds, create a free account. It doesn't hurt. You get to see a bunch of cool properties. We've hosted thousands of trips over the last few years. I think we're at 96, 97% 5-star ratings. So it's a great way to get out there. The relationships that are made, we love reading the reviews coming, after every trip, just like Airbnb, like the guest rates the landowner and vice versa. So it's really cool to see all those relationships that are built by going out and meeting each other and having these great experiences. So, uh,
No, I couldn't agree more. And that's really cool. Again, guys, as out there listening, I'm gonna leave that link down below. Nick's gonna shoot that over so we can make sure you guys get the tools available to be able to go through and plan these hunts. Again, I can't recommend enough. If you're out west, go a little bit more east, even if it is the Midwest. There's a lot of good opportunities again in Missouri. There's, like you said,
mhm.
in Nebraska, if you want to go rifle hunting, bow hunting, etc. There's mule deer out there if you're more mule deer oriented than whitetails. There's a lot of stuff going on in these states that you may not even know about. And so, not saying that you should, or that you're getting bored with the hunts that you currently have, but if
Who
you're
doesn't
looking
want
to
to hunt
expand
more?
your
Yeah,
exactly, if you wanted to expand your horizons, a land trust is definitely an option to go through and get that information out there for you. So,
yeah,
yeah, man. Well, I appreciate you hopping on here and kind of explaining what land trust is for people that don't know, and for me even, because I
yeah,
didn't know exactly what depth of resource you guys were. So that's really cool.
yeah. Check out turkeys, man. If you, again, it is like little mini elk hunting. I don't know. It's a lot of fun. And the cool thing is, in almost every state, turkey tags are over the counter, and it's
Mm,
very approachable. But it's fun. It's really
yeah.
fun. So for any of your listeners who haven't really gotten the bug, it's a fun one to do. It's
Yeah,
springtime
need
too.
something to do in the spring.
That's
Go
right.
after turkeys. Yeah,
That's right.
exactly. Well, that's cool. That's awesome. Well, again, I appreciate your time, Nick. Thank you so much for hopping on here. And guys, again, I can't reiterate enough. I'm going to leave the link down below. Go check it out. Worst comes to worst, you get logged in. You don't like it, or it's not something that you
Yeah,
feel like you're going to use. All you have to do is say no after that. But
that's right.
best case scenario, you trip or you book the hunt of a lifetime for you and your kids, and you have just an amazing time.
Yeah,
So I highly recommend it, guys. Go check it out. Nick, again, thanks so much for hopping on here. And
appreciate you having me on.
like I always say, guys, get out, live your life, and love it.
Awesome.
Hope you enjoyed that conversation with Nick. He is an outstanding dude, very knowledgeable at what he does, has worked with some of the greats in the industry as well that you may know, such as John Dudley, etc. So go and check out the link down below if you're interested in knowing even just a little bit more about land trust, whether it be for turkey hunting, bear hunting, elk hunting, deer hunting, mule deer, whitetail, whatever it may be, or you just want to get to know some landowners and follow along on their pages so that you can see what's available. And in the future, maybe in a couple years, you're wanting to go on a hunt and take your kids or you and some buddies or you by yourself and you just want to get to know some landowners. Great resource, guys. Definitely go check it out. Also, like and subscribe, guys. You hear that all the time. I appreciate you coming back. The vast majority of you that are watching are not subscribed to the channel. So let's continue growing together. Subscribe to the channel and leave a comment if you have any questions or anything else that you'd like to see on future videos or anything that you liked about this video. I definitely appreciate your support. Last but not least, if you're in the market for any gear that I've talked about in the past, gear videos that I've got currently on the channel and in the future, the partners are listed down below along with codes for you to get a discount, best pricing possible on the best gear that I personally trust and use. And you're supporting the partners of the show. You're supporting me and my family. And also, again, you're getting the best pricing possible. So go check them out, guys, all down below. Thank you so much for the support. Have a fantastic rest of your Saturday. And of course, get out, live your life, and love it. I almost forgot, guys. I almost forgot. I was going to go through here and read a review. So let's do that. Okay. So this is what we're going to do here at the very end. Let's go through the reviews and see what we've got on. We're going to go to Apple today. Let's see what Apple's got for us. All right, I'm going to pull up a review. I probably should have had this ready to go, but I did not. So let's pull up what we've got here. We're going to, and this is, you guys have to reach out to me with your handle, because I obviously don't get whoever's email it is. Let's see here. We're going to go to Jack-Nels, Jack-Nels. And he says, it's hard to find much quality content from the outdoors industry and even harder to find it with good insights. RedBeard has become a quick favorite and excited to tag along for more. Thank you, Jack-Nels. I really appreciate that. Reach out to me via email, redbeardoutdoors1@gmail.com, and we'll get you your swag that I'm sending out. Guys, again, every week for the foreseeable future, I don't have a hard cutoff date. I'm going to be reading a review because I appreciate your support. So go leave a review, whether it be on Apple or Spotify, and I'm going to read a review on the podcast and then send you either a First Phorm shirt, some swag, maybe you'll get some product. We'll see. But Jack-Nels, reach out to me via email. Let's get you that. And thank you so much, guys, for the support. Have a fantastic rest of your day. And of course, get out, live your life, and love it.